Thank you so much, Lynn. And welcome everyone. Thank you so much for joining me in this presentation. On behalf of the team today, I would like to share with you a snapshot about our realist evaluation and to look at the context for homes and for how the extended duration supervision trainings work or fail to work. And firstly, I would like to acknowledge the traditional owner of the lands, and I pay my respect to elder past, present, and futures. I also acknowledge the funding from Victorian Departments of Health and Human Services to allow us to conduct this important program of work. So about our program, after receiving the funding from the Victorian Departments, we partnered with Monash Rural Health and Turning Point to develop, deliver, and evaluate a statewide supervision training program for almost 8,000 workers in the sectors. The trainings was meant to deliver throughout 2017 to 2021 to all areas of Victoria. The training included two components. Firstly, the two introductory workshops to help to focus on the introductions of the supervisions of students and supervisions of peers and colleagues. And another component is a longitudinal outdoor diaries through 12 weeks. So this program really must focus on the importance of supervisions, and we know that the three most important functions of supervisions are for managerial, for educative, and restorative. So the supervision is not only important for students, but also for colleagues to allow them with the space for development. But as we can see that in the literature, most of the time it's only addressed the questions whether the program is effective or not, but there's not enough of evidence about that, how it works and what triggers that outcomes. And that set the rationale for our realist methodology, the choice of our method for the evaluation, because it's helped us to tease out the context, the mechanism that leading to the outcome. The evaluation has multiple phases and stage as well. So firstly, we revised the literature, we reviewed and synthesized the literature to help us shape the questions for the interviews with the program developers to understand that, what was their rationale behind the design and what did they expect to achieve and how it would be achieving the outcomes. And then we interviewed the workshop participants. After they attending the workshop, then we invite them to attend the 12 weeks longitudinal audio diaries, where they have to send 5 minutes of audios every week with the facilitations from the researchers. And at the end of 12 weeks, there will be interviews individually to conclude the intervention. So for the focus of this presentation, we'll focus on the two last part of this evaluation. So what have we found? So the first question is about, did the program work? And majority of our participants share with us that yes, the program did work because they were satisfied with the trainings and they experienced the improvements in knowledge, in practice, attitude, engagement, confidence. And also as a result of that, they experience improvements in supervisory relationship, and they can see the growth in their supervisees as well. But for some smaller percentage of our participants, we see that the outcome didn't work as well as they expected. So the next question would be, how these programs work and how the outcomes were achieved. And we found that there's three main mechanisms that trigger those outcomes. Firstly, related to pedagogy, and the second related to the supervisors, and the third related to their own workplace. So for example, related to pedagogy, we found that the participants benefit a lot from the engagement and competence of the facilitators who stimulate the deep learning that allowed them to reflect and enhance their reflexivities over 3 months period. But also, for example, on another side, the participant, to some extent, was not so much satisfied with the design of the trainings because it was it was lengthy for them, and sometimes they lost the engagement over the long period. So for whom this program work, we found that in our context, the participants did find that all the participants from the context of genders, of workplace localities, and the natures of their disciplines really impact the outcome that they get out from there. But most importantly, we found that the mechanism and the outcomes that we presented here was most triggered by the organization, especially related to their supervision culture. So for example, with those who experience the cultures with a very strong support from their managers, but they also have the framework and supervision, and they recognize the importance of supervision, then they are more likely to achieve higher outcomes than other people. So that's also influenced our recommendation that for the training, for the future training, the designers can also pay a little bit more attention to multiple factors, not just only training related, but also supervisors and organizational factors in order to maximize the training outcomes. And we don't always just send people to the training and expect that knowledge training to skills and practice and confidence, but we need to allow that contact to trigger the mechanism in order to achieve the outcome we wish to achieve. So thank you very much.